fishbowl, Poppy got the tent. You got ink on your body, but you never spent. I was praying for my daddy, hope he heaven sent. Pay a lawyer for my brother, there's no evidence. How the fuck Donald Trump became the president? It be the law and elevation, sacrifice the geese. I know these niggas go against me cause I'm pressing peace. Sometimes I wanna catch a body temper on the lease. Y'all the ones that's really switching, acting like it's me. The cops took my brother and the cancer took my daddy.
What's the good old big deal? It's your boy, Young Aunt Jefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing to press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people? It's Hot Topics with your boy, Young Aunt Jefe. And I'm here to bring you another one like the other one. What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? Y'all already know what time it is. It's Hot Topics. And I already know y'all been seeing what's been trending in the streets. I know y'all been waiting for my intake on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to react on it. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get this out myself, but it looked like, you know what I'm saying, some people out here in this metaverse was being messy, you know what I'm saying? It looked like some people was being messy out here trying to play, you know what I'm saying? Trying to play, telling people to check into my paperwork and stuff like that. Like if you gonna find something foul on me. It be so funny out here, you know what I'm saying, when y'all be running into solid individuals, you know what I'm saying, who been handling their business on both sides of the coin. Y'all can't believe it, huh? Y'all be trying to find something so bad. But, you know what I'm saying, keep on digging. You know what I'm saying? You can keep on digging, though. So we gonna go ahead and get into what Hot Topics is pertaining about, you know, my indictment, you know what I'm saying? So Rap Hustle News and went ahead and dug some paperwork up, you know what I'm saying, and put his own spin and narrative on it, you know what I'm saying? So rating, if I would give it a grade, it'd be like a C+, B- type situation, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, all the paperwork was what it was, but some of them things weren't actual charges that people, you know what I'm saying, was given time on, some was, and things like that. But look, I don't even want to hold you guys, you know what I'm saying, too much longer. We're going to go ahead and get into this content.
Love my niggas like a blessing, everyone that bled. I just took a 10-piece, made it out the fed.
Got the brother right here. What's your name, man?
Tiny Minutes from 83Gangsta.
Yes, sir.
I pray something shake for my nigga hit 6. Free YDYA and Tiny Mad Minutes.
It follows that many of them were 83 gangster Crips.
Rap news, street politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, and we back in South Central about to cover the largest federal indictment on the west side 83Gangstas. Now, you know, a lot of people been hitting us about covering cases. They've been asking us to cover an Jefe case, man. You know, I guess some people got on the who's and was asking for paperwork on there and all that. But I feel like not only should we be covering the bad paperwork, we also got to cover the good paperwork too. But that being said, there was a lot of confidential informants on this case, man. People taking the stands, making testimonies, wiretaps. And Maurice Shellman, a.k.a. Young Aunt Jefe, or Fly, was in the middle of it all. Like I said, the largest federal indictment in West Side 83Gangsta history. This is a $20 million Oxycontin operation that was running from L.A. all the way up to Spokane, Washington. Now, you know, with the 83s controlling one of the largest hoods in L.A., that comes with two things: a lot of membership and a lot of terrain to operate on. So those two factors right there is how you get a situation where a hood can run an operation like this. Not every hood can do this because, number one, membership and the scope of their territory doesn't stretch that far. Now, we know the 83s is operating in multiple states: West Coast, East Coast, New York, Maryland. You know, Chef G from 83 out in New York. But this specific setup was when the 83s started operating and really making money in Spokane, Washington. But for y'all that don't know exactly who the 83s is on the west side, like I said, controlling one of the largest territories, they operate just a couple blocks south of Harvard Park, all the way down the Century, north to south, and really going from Van Ness to Vermont, east to west. So really, man, they cover like 30, 40 blocks in this section. We know they got the north side over by Florence. They got the original west over by Western. The far west bordering Van Ness. The back west, back by the 99s and the 90s, and the south side's between all of that. So with 5 sides of they hood, we know they bordering a lot of enemies, and they bordering some hoods that they cool with. To the north, they got the 6-0s, who we know is the #1 enemy of the 8-Trays, along with the 9-0s to the south, also gridlocked in the deadly war with the ETGs. To the east across Van Ness, Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods, who we've all heard them be cool with, as well as east of Vermont, they got the Hoovers, who they cool with. Then they got other situations to the northeast with the Menlos, and to the southeast with the 9-9s, both hoods that they don't see necessarily eye to eye with.
Damn, cuz, he working with the cops, the Draco got the drums, time to terrorize his block. Is you with this gangsta shit or not? Don't bang it on the dead homies if you ain't sliding when they drop. All sides moving, nigga, this is GC. Active giants, but the young hogs raise me. It's free baby schoolie till they let them free. Yeah, it's free baby schoolie till they let them free.
But like I said, they took this operation that they got in South Central all the way up to Spokane and got cracking. So it's said that this whole situation started around 2008, no later than 2008. It's not necessarily known when the 8-Trays as a whole really got to Spokane, but LAPD said they was made aware of the 8-Trays traveling up there around 2007. Now, this indictment included 62 people in total, and it's confirmed that about 25 or 26 of these people was for show from 8-Tray gangsters. Everybody else was ETG associates, co-conspirators, or just dudes and females either claiming or just being around the mix of all the 8-Trays. And they broke it down into levels. They had upper level leadership, mid-level leadership, strictly female drug runners, other mid-level distributors and drug runners, and lastly, they had a group labeled 8-Tray Gangsta Criminal Associates, all a part of this indictment. Now, with all of them members, we know there's a lot of people with some reputable names that went down on this case. A part of upper level and mid-level leadership, we got dudes like Tiny Sody, Tiny Menace, Tiny Football, Big Rowdy, as well as Lil Sidewinder. Now, we know those kind of names ring a lot of bells in their section. Names like Sidewinder, Football, Sody, Menace, Rowdy. These names hold a lot of weight, and these were some reputable members, as well as Young and Jefe going down a part of this indictment. Now, like I said, that was upper and mid-level leadership of this program.
All right, so y'all see what's going on. So what it's looking like here, that Rap Hustle News and went and did some homework. He did a little homework, you feel me, and put his own little spin and narrative on this situation here. So this is the indictment that I was found guilty on, you know what I'm saying, in 2013. That's when they came and got us, February 28th. But I believe it was really February 29th. It was leap year that year, you know what I'm saying? You know, every couple of years, February have a leap year. However, let's go with the narrative that this indictment started somewhere around 2008 or whatever the case may be. I was in Pelican Bay. You know what I'm saying? I got out 2009 or whatever the case may be. So what he did have right as far as this segment, you know what I'm saying? You know, he covered the turf and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The blocks, the ranges and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The accuracy of that and things like that. So jumping into this indictment, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, he had it right as far as what the government, you know what I'm saying, proceeded to say as far as how things was broke down, you know what I'm saying, in upper levels, you know what I'm saying, mid-levels and carriers and stuff like that. But, you know, we going to have to correct some things. So, you know, he tried to make it seem like Jefe, you know what I'm saying, was running for somebody. You know what I'm saying? I was a mid-level carrier. That is what the courts, you know what I'm saying, based on paperwork, that's what they labeled. But, you know what I'm saying, you know, we know the truth, you know. The who's, you know what I'm saying, know what it is, you feel me, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's Big Jefe, not the little one, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't running for nobody whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't no carrier for nobody. We wasn't no mid-layer carrier for nobody. Jefe did his own thing, you know what I'm saying? But that's for the more get into this content, and you already know it's the half weight and half effect we gonna commentate.
Young and Jefe was labeled as a mid-level distributor in this program again. This operation was going on from about 2008 to 2013. So when everything blew up in 2013, we talking about a 21, 22-year-old and Jefe, a real young dude that got mixed up and involved in this situation. But the lead defendant, the main guy, had ties to Washington before everything jumped off. Schoolboy, Arvin Carmen. Now, he had ties earlier around 2004, and even before that, with his baby mama, Jessica Clinton, staying up here in Spokane. So it's not confirmed, but he may have been the one to really jump ETG off in this section. But in 2004, February 11th, he was back in California running up bareface inside of a bank with 3 other co-defendants when they got off with 32 racks and ended up getting caught in the getaway vehicle. Now, he was introduced to 63 months, and again, that's back in 2004. So he gets out around 2009 and seemingly turns this whole Oxycontin situation up. Fresh out the feds, he jumps into a $20 million ring. Now, a key thing we have to speak about right here is Washington. You know, a lot of dudes from LA, including myself, have gone up to Washington. And if you know anything about Washington, when you get up there, it's not moving like California, man. It's looking real green, and it's a lot of opportunity that's up there. Seemingly. It's so much opportunity to where you can easily take advantage and your greed takes over. I know this because I caught a case in Washington because shit seemed too easy up there. And this seems exactly how it happened up here. It's like, I'm not gonna say it feels like they a step slower, but if you know, you know. And I'm sure when these dudes got up here, they started moving like, oh shit, you know, I can really do my thing. And we see things get out of hand very quickly.
All right, so furthermore to break down on what he's speaking on, so, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a whole lot of hypotheticals in here, you know what I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, you know what I'm saying, based on paperwork, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. So, give y'all a breakdown, you know what I'm saying, my case, you know what I'm saying, that 2013, you know what I'm saying, Oxycontin ring, you know what I'm saying, that they caught the 83Gangsters up on, you feel me, that was running from Spokane, Washington, down to Los Angeles, you feel me, and a few other states up there in that Northwest, you know, that they're going to put out there and stuff like that. So, allegedly, the homie Baby Schoolie, you know what I'm saying, that's who they talking about, Arvin Carmen, you know what I'm saying. He was in the feds, you know what I'm saying, prior to us catching his case, you feel me, for a bank robbery, you know what I'm saying. So, you know what I'm saying, he went and did his paperwork, and he provided the facts for y'all as far as, you know what I'm saying, him running in the face, running in the bank bare face, you know what I'm saying, him and a couple other saints, you know, who names wasn't mentioned. So I'm not going to mention their names. However, you know, the homie Baby Schoolie went ahead and did that stretch. You know, he did that stretch, came home after he did that time, you know what I'm saying, and was paroled out there in Spokane, Washington. So as far as him starting this appeal ring, I don't know nothing about that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, somebody who was never indicted, let's just go with that. You know what I'm saying? He was turned on to, you feel me? Got turned on to some money, you know what I'm saying? Got to run his bag up, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit. And after he ran his bag up to his comfortability, you know what I'm saying, he tapped in with the land, you feel me? And the homies and stuff like that. So, you know, we going to furthermore get into the rest of this content. And you already know it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We going to commentate.
I grew up in the same neighborhood in Compton that was between 83rd Street and Normandy, so it follows that many of them were A-Tray gangster Crips, members of that gang, or they were friends of those individuals.
Now, to really jump off from the beginning, we got to go back to Arvin Carmen. It was said that he was the original pill man in Spokane, and this being right after he gets out of federal custody in 2009 from that robbery. Now, he's up there with somebody named J-Lo, Joseph Shorts. J-Lo was also from A-Tray, but he was living in Washington at the time in 2009. And while Schoolboy is doing his thing, 3 other individuals get introduced to the scene. We got Nakomi Moore, who's also known as Shakita Bailey in the indictment and labeled as upper-level leadership. And we also got Gilbert Leroy Madison, who goes by Lil Sidewinder. And then third, we got Glenn Turner, aka Big Rowdy. Now, those 4 people were the originals to jump it off in 2009. And something that you gonna see in the indictment, a lot of these people go by different names, especially the people that came from LA. So with Glenn Turner, Big Rowdy, when he went to Spokane, he changed his name to YD, or Young Diamond. Lil Sidewinder went by Big Dog, and Schoolboy went by Schoolie or Zeus. And after they set up shop and start getting everything cracking, a dude named Kevin Darnell Miles, aka Nino, who was an A-Tray associate, not necessarily a full-fledged member, is said to have funded Big Rowdy getting up there. So he comes and he starts laying groundwork as well. Now, Kevin Miles played the role of the presentable member. He's college educated. Like I said, he's not full-fledged with the gangbanging, so he can move around different circles and open up different doors for these A-Tray members in LA and in Spokane. And it was said once they all got up there, J-Lo, who was usually known for selling crack in Washington, flipped over and started selling pills with Schoolboy. And with the money being right, dudes like Peanut and Mel, both from 83Gangsta, also made it to Spokane, Washington in 2009. Now at this point, like I said, Schoolboy was the pill man in Washington, so he was taxing everybody's motion. The key thing is these people couldn't just come up here and just get some pills from Schoolboy and hit the street.
All right, so this part of the segment, dude really did his homework. So, I said I'm going to rate it a C+, B- type situation. He did his homework. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that he did his homework as far as this part. Now, this is before my time, before I got up to Spokane. But me, as a student of the game, you know what I'm saying, I definitely always got to do my homework and entering into something and or becoming a part of something, you feel me? Like to where y'all just bang these gangs out here and just bang the gang and be out here lost and don't have, no substance and no history. It's kind of different for me, When I took to this gang banging and I took to the gang, I was a serious student of it, you feel me? And I really lived by, that, gang banging was a full-time job, not a part-time job. Now, with that being said, this was before my time, but a lot of this information from my hearing, is accurate. This part, is, really accurate, as far as the politicking and stuff like that these earlier members was doing. I, myself, could have been one of these earlier members, I remember coming home from Pelican Bay in 2009, you feel me? And I had pulled up on one of the homies, you feel me? And they was online with another one of the homies, you feel me? And the homie was like, what y'all got going on out there in LA? What y'all doing? Me, I'm fresh out of prison, I'm fresh out of Pelican Bay, fresh off that 4-yard, out here fresh in the streets, I'm gang banging, whatever wars and stuff going on, I'm definitely, top 2 for sure, heading these things, you feel me? Fresh out. Known facts. So the homie like, man, what y'all got going on? I'm like, man, this is what it is. Same program. You know how we move. So he like, look, man, it's popping out here where I'm at. What type of woman you want? It's big money. You feel me? You can lay the pistol down and come get some money. So I was on my way. But while I was waiting, I got apprehended. You feel me? Like I was out 90 days. I got apprehended on August 3rd, you feel me? And I was taken to jail, And while I was taken to jail, a lot of these dudes' name that you hear right now is being mentioned, you feel me? They was able to take that trip, you feel me, and see what that money like and see what them different women and things like that was like. So we're going to go ahead and get back to this content. And y'all already know it's the halfway and the half effect. We're going to commentate.
And then when they ran out of that work, they would then buy from Schoolboy and be taxed on top of Schoolboy because Schoolboy not only had the plug, but he also had the foundation laid. He had the whole network for these people to operate in safely, so to speak. But at some point, like I spoke on with that greed, the greed prevailed and a meeting was held where everybody decided that they didn't want to pay taxes to Schoolboy anymore. The only person that said he really stayed by Schoolboy's side was Lil Sidewinder. So eventually, J-Lo, with already having legs in Washington, he was already staying out there. He rented a big house and had everybody that we just spoke on go to the house and operate and trap out that house, except for Schoolboy. So either you was coming up there to rock with Schoolboy and you pay tax to Schoolboy or whatever you have it, or you rocking with J-Lo because J-Lo had his own plug. And what we seen in this indictment was Schoolboy had a network of females that he was dealing with, multiple females, including his baby mama. So pretty much as we see, dudes wanted to separate from Schoolboy. And further down the line, we see Schoolboy implement a bunch of females that he was dealing with to start doing his movements along with Sidewinder. And it said that Sidewinder started doing the legwork for Schoolboy, and dudes like J-Lo didn't really want Sidewinder performing for Schoolboy anymore. They didn't want him to do Schoolboy legwork. They pretty much seeming like they was hating. I ain't gonna lie, man. It seemed like...
Okay, again, this is still before my time. But a lot of this right here that he's speaking is accurate. So let me say this. I wasn't there, but just speaking to some of these members and names is mentioned, I'm not going to say who, but, you know what I'm saying, just speaking and just questioning some of these members as far as this indictment that I was brought into on, I was asking a lot of questions and trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, what was going on, you feel me, from the beginning and to the end. And what he's laying out here, a lot of this stuff, man, is like 98% accurate. So a lot of people know, man, Schoolboy to be a dude from the hood, Schoolboy got a beautiful mind, you feel me? Schoolboy got a beautiful mind. But with that beautiful mind, you feel me, it's some selfishness behind it. You know what I'm saying? He a selfish good nigga, you feel me? And I don't say selfishness because he wasn't selfish in things that he did as far as, you know what I'm saying, allowing, you know, the homies to eat, you feel me, off a plate, you feel me? That, you know what I'm saying, he didn't have to. But just with the mind games, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, with Schoolie comes a lot of mind games. You know, Schoolie, you know what I'm saying, he's a person that like to test minds, you know what I'm saying, the adversity of minds, you know what I'm saying, try to get in the inner depths of your minds, trying to spin and play YA games. I'm a student of YA, so I can understand it, to where somebody who haven't been a YA and don't understand the mind games until you really catch on, you know what I'm saying, because just common sense, you feel me, and just, you know, psychologically, you feel me, and being spiritually aware, you know what I'm saying, you can tell when somebody is playing mind games with you. So I think like in the beginning, like with that split up and stuff like that, and what he's speaking on as far as tax, like when a lot of people seen how lucrative it was, it may have been a tax being put on there, but I don't think that it was a tax that was not unreasonable. But however, you feel me, being that we all grown, you feel me, black people, we don't like being taxed as a people. So I just think, you know, when people were seeing how lucrative it was and that they can get away, you know what I'm saying, from the initial start, you know what I'm saying, and plans of things, you know what I'm saying, they start branching out, you feel me? And people, you know what I'm saying, start choosing up and people start pairing up, you know what I'm saying, and like start doing teamwork, you feel me, and doing leg work for each other. So I don't know what Schoolboy and Lil Cy had going on because, like I said, it's a lot of mind games for Schoolie. Schoolie will tell you that, you know, he wasn't dealing with somebody, you feel me, and be dealing with him, you know what I'm saying, like trying to throw you off. So, you know what I'm saying, we're going to furthermore get into this content, and y'all already know it's the Hef Way and the Hef Effect. We're going to commentate.
Like some dirty politicking was going on, so they told Sidewinder he probably shouldn't even be up here rocking no more. And the key thing is, Schoolboy wasn't an original 83Gangsta. It said that he's originally from Hoop. So it could be that situation right there is why things went beyond the tax with Schoolboy, and maybe that's why dudes like J-Lo wanted to cut Schoolboy out the situation. So another thing some may ask is why Washington? So at that time, and this reigns true for a lot of different products, the product is cheaper to get in LA. Oxycontin at the time was a lot cheaper to get in LA, which means it sells for cheaper. So when you get that cheap product and you take it up to Washington where it's less accessible, now these dudes is making hand over fist. They killing the game, bringing these cheap pills from LA to Washington, especially with a strong clientele base. So this is why these dudes really is wanting this territory in Washington. Now, like we spoke on, J-Lo was trying to get Sidewinder
earlier on, right? It was really lucrative, you know what I'm saying, like with them early groups of people. It was really lucrative, you know what I'm saying? That's when them 80s, you know what I'm saying, Oxycontins, you know what I'm saying, was popping, them OCs, you feel me? Them OCs was going for like $100 to $150 depending on where you was selling them at and depending on what part of the city you was in. So it was enough money to go around for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, amongst people who ain't never had money, you know what I'm saying, it looks like greed, you know what I'm saying, begun to set in between whoever, you know what I'm saying, like whoever started the cancer, you know, wherever the cancer came from, you know what I'm saying, it looked like greed, you know what I'm saying, started to set in and people started to pair up, people started talking about people started to hate. And that's what you're going to see in this case right here. It was a whole bunch of hating going on in this case, you feel me? Like when you start listening to phone calls and stuff like that, like stuff that you couldn't hear when you wasn't around, like people having their names in your mouth like that, it was a whole lot of that, bruh. And that was crazy. So basically, they saying that Schoolboy wasn't an original 83Gangsta. Now, true enough, I wouldn't say that he's not an original 83Gangsta. Schoolboy was from 83 Hoover as a child. Schoolboy turned 83Gangsta as a child. So he was from like 83 Hoover probably like for like a few years, probably like from like 12 to like 14, 15. And then, you know, he got introduced to 83Gangstas and the 83Gangstas turned him out and he turned 83Gangstas. But you see how when the hating started going on, how people start getting in people's ear, oh man, he ain't no real homie anyway. He used to be from Hoover. The homies turned him out, he was from Hoover. That's when greed and hate starts to set in because like it ain't no smut on the dude. I mean, yeah, he used to be from Hoover, but he was a kid. It ain't like he was a grown dude and then turned A-Tray as a grown dude. All that happened while he was a child. This dude already had been from A-Tray for years. You know what I'm saying? Been in service, been in jail and all type of stuff. But let's furthermore get into the content. Y'all know.
Get out the way.
It's the Hef Effect. We gonna commentate.
With helping Schoolboy. But Kevin Miles was also with J-Lo. And remember, Kevin Miles, Nino, he also not only funded Big Rowdy's trip up to Spokane, but he also helped Lil Sidewinder get up and start his thing in Spokane. So Sidewinder's kind of stuck in the middle as to what he should do because he got people he trying to stay loyal to, so he says, on both sides. But this is where a lot of different things start to break off underneath Schoolboy and J-Lo.
And that is because the first element that the judge instructed the jury on is that Mr. Carman had to commit a continuing series of 3 or more narcotics violations. That is, Mr. Carman had to. Defendant Carman committed 1 or more of the following narcotics transactions, and it lists conspiracy, distribution of a controlled substance, possession with intent to distribute controlled substance, and use of a communication facility in furtherance of drug trafficking crimes.
So Nakomi Moore, who was also a high-level member, all these people right here are, of course, high-level organizers or co-conspirators in this case because they was here for the jump-off. But Nakomi Moore is said to have established her crew consisting of Cottrell Bully, a.k.a. Slim, or some may know him as D3 or Baby Derange, as well as Grump 6, or Ra-Ra, also from 83Gangstas, as well as a couple other females under her. Now, Cottrell Bully, D3, is D3 the Gas Man, another one of they artists coming out the 80s. He was involved in this situation as well, man. Like I said, a lot of dudes from A-Tray was involved in this. He was defendant number 10 out of 62. So he was also out here doing this shit with everybody else in Spokane, Washington. And then Kevin Miles further developed his crew that consisted of Big Rowdy and Donald Lynch, aka Young Mo, who also went by the name of Flossie or a little bit up in Washington. Now with both of them working under Kevin Miles.
Okay, so what I'm gonna say right there, I'm gonna make this quick so we can get back to the content because I don't want to hold you guys too long. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by which the way that the ladder was numbered. Do not be fooled by the way in which the ladder was numbered. Because there's some people that's like in that first 10 that I was getting way more Lucci than and getting to the Lucci way before. And there's some people that was in that first ladder that was like, you know, really working for people. You know what I'm saying? Working for others. It was like third party money. They was able to see some bread, but by way of somebody else seeing their bread. Jefe was his own entity. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all failing to realize. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, this is how the courts put it. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he's going off of. But, you know, this is what we hear to clear up as far as the other few things being that he put my case out here on blast. Do not be fooled by which the way the co-defendants was numbered, because I was way up the ladder. I was number 36. I was number 36. And it was some younger homies that was way down the ladder, like at 8, 9, and stuff like that. So do not be fooled by which way the numbers was going in the laddering, because that was based on information they had. And they only had a tad bit of information on Jefe. So that was based on information they had on people like that. Because a dude that I brought out there that only had like a 6-month run, he was number 5 on the list. And they made him look like Big Meech. So let's further get into the content. And y'all know it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We gonna commentate.
DeAndre Megan, Baby G-Man, or Flacco into the situation. More 83Gangstas coming up to Spokane, Washington. And eventually this led to big names like Tiny Sody, Richard Jamal Haynes, who also went by Swag or TS or Tiny Schoolie in Washington, and Alex James, Tiny Menace, along with Tiny Football in the Lael Lisby, who was said to be one of the top guys coming out the north at this time, and Tymar Haynes, Tiny Outlaw, also ended up making their way and start really putting in work in this pill game in Spokane, Washington. Now, Nakomi Moore this whole time is J-Lo's cousin, and it said that she started to also operate on a very high level. She got a whole little team under her, and there was a lot of competition, especially over the phones and the little buyers that they had on the street. So things started to kind of get out of hand, man. And it really all started with that meeting at the big house when everything split into J-Lo and Schoolboy's crews. So Sidewinder ends up going back down to LA and starts to operate out there. Kevin Miles ends up getting arrested in 2010, and he took his ass back down to LA as well. After that, a couple people start moving around trying to dodge the heat. But at this point, it said that this is when Young Mo really started to develop his own structure and step in where other dudes were stepping out. Now, at this time, there was a member by the name of Loon, Marlon Johnson, who was also living in Washington. He had a run-in with the folks as well around this 2010 time. And this is when dudes started having their names written down and things started to be taken account of. But after this, we see dudes like Northside Gray, Anthony Miller, who also went by the name Tony in Washington. He also comes up and starts working with Young Mo, a part of his crew, starting to move things. Now, when Tiny Sody got up there, it said that this dude was really getting to work and putting it down. Now, we know the Sody name is a big name in this situation.
All right, so basically, that's how the courts put it. So when they put a conspiracy together, they're going to bring it together as a group, you know what I'm saying? And they had this equivalent to Ford, you know what I'm saying, to General Motors, you know what I'm saying, as if we was running as a company. And you had a CEO, you know what I'm saying, you had the general manager, you feel me, from the lieutenants, you know what I'm saying, all the way down to the runners, you know what I'm saying? That's how they going to pitch it. Now, it wasn't really, to a degree, everybody working in groups, how they was pitching it, like, oh yeah, this was this crew, and this crew was here, and this crew was over there. It wasn't like that. It was just like each one, you know what I'm saying, teach one. It was just like, if I'm on, and I know you a righteous homie gonna put the next homie on. So that's how that was going, you feel me? And to where, like, things be different in society to where, like, really our hood was different, you know what I'm saying, from a lot of other hoods, to where in other hoods, you know what I'm saying, the dudes who was having the money really wasn't the dudes who was out there, you know what I'm saying, putting in the work or participating, you know what I'm saying. It was a difference from the dudes who was, you know what I'm saying, about that work, and the dudes who had the money. But see, on our situation, majority of the dudes who was getting to the bag, you know what I'm saying, was the dudes, you feel me, off every side, you feel me, that was enforcing, you know what I'm saying, what needed to be enforced, you know what I'm saying, at the time, in or needed to be done. But it wasn't no groups, really, you feel me? It was just like, you know, you put your Conrad on, your Conrad put his Conrad on type situation, and everybody was just, you know, happened to be out there, you feel me, at different times in or at the same time sometimes. So it wasn't no group or nothing like that, how they trying to make it seem, oh yeah, this was his worker and this was his runner and stuff like that. And some people, you know what I'm saying, had they stuff like that. And as far as that big house stuff, like I said, that was before my time, but obviously, you know, those was the earlier, you know what I'm saying, head runners, you know what I'm saying, they couldn't get it together in or get along, so it looked like they politicked and had their meeting and everybody broke off, you know what I'm saying. Let's furthermore get into the content.
Situation low-key where you had Baby Sody, Tiny Sody, and Young Sody. Now, Sidewinder is the one who called Tiny Sody on behalf of Schoolboy and basically said that the older homies wanted Tiny Sody to start getting his feet wet and getting some chili